Again, now let's look on the flip side of the coin. So for example, if you have $5,000 invested in stock, let's say XYZ, and it loses 6.4% of its value today, how much is your investment worth? So the question says P naught, which is my initial investment, is $5,000. And my loss is 6.4%. Now, how do I show loss in my investment? The easiest way to do that is to subtract this from 100, because you can never have more than 100%. So my total loss is 100 minus 6.4%. Okay? Which means it is now 93.6% of my total that was left over. So my initial investment was for a P naught, which is 5,000. So my final investment is going to be 93.6% of what I originally had. Do you notice that I skipped a step? And the step that I skipped is 100%. Whenever you see that mathematically, you have to divide 1 over 1. You have to multiply it with 1 over 100. Which basically means is that you will have an answer of $406.80. Okay, that is going to be your final number for profit. Now here's what I recommend you do. When I'm going through these problems, I would like if you have your calculator out with it and either try to attempt it, pause it at the beginning and attempt it and then look at the video, or you could do it as I go step by step. It's up to you, but I would recommend that you try it on your own and then you come back and you see the video, and that will make more it'll make things more clear for you. So the general rule for percentages is that if you want to find a percent of anything, you multiply whatever quantity you are given by 1 plus or minus n over 100. That means plus if the quantity is increasing and you're actually getting a profit, or minus if the quantity is decreasing. The third very important thing that we need to talk about today is proportions. A is proportional to B, or A is inversely proportional to B. What does that mean? Proportions are very important. A directly proportional to B means that the value of A is directly dependent on the value of B. For example, if one increases, the other one has to increase. A inversely proportional to B means as one increases, the other one decreases. That means it is inversely proportional to the value of B. As an example, cost is proportional to weight at a grocery store. So you buy 1 apple, you pay less. If you buy 10 apples, you will pay more. This is a directly proportional relationship. Cost is directly proportional to the number of items that you buy or the weight of the items that you buy. In math, in physics, remember in equations we talked about this, we have to have an equal sign in our equation. So in order to calculate what the percentages or proportions are, we are going to put an equal sign in the middle. Cost equals cost per pound times the weight of the object that you are trying to buy, where cost per pound is going to be called the proportionality constant. It is very important to recognize that proportionality constants are important in physics when we are talking about them, and we cannot forget about it. A really good example about proportions is, say, area. Area of a circle is directly proportional to r squared. That means as r increases, A increases, right? But it also means that the area increases as r times r. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's do an example, and that will make more sense. The example says if you have one circle with radius 5 centimeters and a second circle with radius 3 centimeters, by what factor is the circumference and the area of the first circle larger than the area of the second circle? So we are given two circles, one with radius R1 and one with radius R2. The first circle is 5 centimeters in radius and the second circle is 3 centimeters in radius. Okay, now here's to test your knowledge. What do you know about circumference? What is the formula for circumference of a circle? So if you have a circle, circumference is if you had a person standing here and he's walking all the way around it and he comes back to the same spot. That is the circumference of a circle. Mathematically given as 2 pi r. Okay? That means for each of these circles, does the circumference matter if you have a smaller circle or a bigger circle? So let's say if I make another circle like this, and there's another person walking. Yes, absolutely depends on the circle, and it depends on how much he walks. So for these two expressions, my circumference is going to be different for this guy walking over here and this guy walking over here. So for C1, my answer is going to be 2 pi r1 for my circumference. For C2, the answer is going to be 2 pi r2. Now note, we're going to do a trick. It says by what factor is the circumference of the area or circumference of the circle larger than the second circle. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a small trick. And that small trick is going to involve dividing these two terms with one another. Okay? Now you see a 2 pi in the numerator and a 2 pi in the denominator? These cancel out. That means if I was able to just plug in the values for R1, which is 5 centimeters, and I'm able to plug in the values from R2, which is 3 centimeters. Oops, sorry, I forgot the centimeters here. Do you see that these cancel out? And my answer comes out to be 5 over 3, which is a factor. And if you've noticed, that is now a dimensionless, unitless quantity as we talked about for factors. Now, I'm going to have you do a little bit of work. I am now going to give you the formula for area. Area is pi r squared. So area equals pi r squared. Can you find the ratio of R1 and R2 just like I did here? Go ahead, try it. And then we will talk about how this relates to this. Take a second and quickly do it. Okay, now hopefully everybody's done, so we'll write this out. So when we talk about these, this is going to be area 1 over area 2, which equals pi r1 squared divided by pi r2 squared. Pi's cancel out. I have 5 centimeter squared divided by 3 centimeter squared. 5 centimeter squared will give me 25 centimeters squared divided by 9 centimeters squared. The centimeters will go away, and my answer is area 1 and area 2 are proportional by this factor.